Ever feel like you got totally cheated out of a treat? You know, like when you split a cookie with somebody and you get the smaller half?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it turns out your dog might actually know exactly how you feel.
Really?
Yeah. So today we're diving into the fascinating world of canine cognition.
Okay.
And specifically, whether or not our furry friends have a sense of fairness.
Interesting.
So get this, we're basing our deep dive on a study from the Wolf Science Center in Vienna.
Okay.
And get this, it involves wolves too.
Oh, wow.
So they actually tested both dogs and wolves, and the results were pretty interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, so this study, they set up this scenario where two animals, either both dogs or both wolves, would perform a task.
Okay.
And only one of them would get a reward.
Uh-huh.
And what they found was that both dogs and wolves had a negative reaction when their partner got rewarded, but they didn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, it's not just about them wanting the treat. It's about them understanding that something's off about the situation.
Yeah, like recognizing that something isn't right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's not fair.
Yeah.
And, they seem bothered by that inequality. And in fact, the dogs in this study, they were hesitant to even like press a button to get a treat.
Oh, wow.
If they saw that their partner was getting a better reward.
So they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, they're like, hold on a second, why should I even bother doing this if I'm going to get gypped?
Exactly.
So they have this sense of fairness.
They do.
But, we mentioned that wolves were part of the study too.
Right.
How did they react?
Yeah, so interestingly, both species recognized the unfairness.
Okay.
But the wolves were a lot quicker to refuse to cooperate at all in these unfair situations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So does that mean that wolves have like a stronger sense of fairness than dogs?
Well, it might not be that simple.
Okay.
One theory is that domestication has something to do with this.
Oh, that's interesting.
Over thousands of years, dogs have evolved to live alongside humans, and we pretty much control everything.
Yeah, we control their food, their shelter.
Exactly.
Everything.
So this dependence may have actually made dogs more tolerant of unfairness, especially when it comes from us.
Oh, so they're just putting up with it.
Pretty much, it pleases us.
They want to make us happy.
Wow.
Yeah. And wolves, on the other hand, they haven't gone through that whole domestication process, so...
Like, see?
Exactly. They're out of there.
I'm going back to the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to think about, our dogs put up with this unfairness just to make us happy.
Yeah.
But, if you think about it, most dogs will happily play fetch for hours, even if you completely forget to bring treats.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that brings up a really important point.
Okay.
The study actually found that dogs showed physical signs of stress when they perceived unfairness.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Things like yawning, lip licking.
So, like displacement activities.
Yeah.
Like they do when they're nervous.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And that suggests that they're not just thinking about it, in a detached way.
It's not just logic.
Yeah, they're actually feeling the unfairness. Feeling it. Yeah. So they're genuinely, bummed out
Pretty much.
by the situation.
Yeah.
Wow. So, we learned a lot about dogs and wolves and their sense of fairness.
We did.
But how can we use this information to be better dog owners?
Well, this is really important for those of you with multiple dogs.
Okay.
Imagine one dog consistently gets, tastier treats.
Yeah.
Or more attention than the other one.
Right.
That could easily breed resentment.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then lead to behavioral problems.
Silly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really important to treat all dogs in the household equally.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's not just about giving them the same amount, It's about being mindful of their individual personalities.
Oh, okay.
For example, a shy dog might not appreciate a boisterous reward ceremony.
Right.
The same way a more outgoing dog would.
Makes sense.
So think about each dog's needs and preferences and adjust your approach accordingly.
Yeah, so it's not just about training our dogs to be fair to us. It's about us being fair to them.
Exactly.
So that guilty dog look when they get into the trash.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not really about guilt.
Maybe not.
Maybe they're just like, hey,
So it was
they feel slighted.
I was sleeping.
Yeah.
And you come in and yell at me.
Exactly.
So it really makes you think, if our canine companions are so sensitive to fairness, how should we approach their training?
That's a really good question.
Should we be factoring fairness into how we reward them?
That's something to consider.
How would we even do that?
That's up to you to figure out.
Yeah. I think we need to observe our dogs more.
Absolutely.
See how they react in different situations.
Especially with treats or toys around other dogs.
You might be surprised by what you find out. Definitely.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's really given us a lot to think about
My pleasure.
when it comes to our furry friends.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.